because we're disciplined, but we don't feel as though we're disciplined. I don't mind being disciplined and not realising it.
You know, these little pieces in the book, they give an appearance of great finish, perfection. Do you revise them? Yes? No, and they don't look all that spontaneous. They look as though they've been worked over. Do you work them
They're
over?
not at all. Nobody's ever said that. It's simply wonderful. They are spontaneous, and I hardly ever alter anything, because I'm selfish about what I write, or big-headed about it. Once I've written it, I like it. And the publisher sometimes says, you know, should we leave this out or change that? And I fight like mad, because once I've done it, I like to keep it. But I always write it straight off. I might add things when I go over it before it's published, but I'd seldom take anything out. So it is spontaneous.
The puns and all the other technical things, the puns, the onomatopoeia, the changing...
What?
That's a long word. I'll tell you, onomatopoeia is, you know, when, like,
That's
buzz.
3 words I've heard today.
You know, when I say a word like buzz, buzz is an onomatopoeia because it's, in the word, is captured the noise of the bee. That's onomatopoeia, and you, probably without realising it. Your book is full of them. You know what I mean?
Is it? Well, I'm glad to know that. A lot of onomatopoeias.
Well, you'd rather answer my question, because I was going to ask you whether these were contrived with all the...
No, I've just haven't a clue what you're talking about, really. Automatic peer, sounds like to me. That's probably why I'd change words, because I haven't a clue what words mean half the time.
So this is a natural facility, really?
Yes, it's a sort of native talent, you'd call it, I think.
Do the other boys give you ideas? Do they throw in ideas?
Yes, well, we were on holiday in Tahiti. I went with George, and I was writing The Single Large Experience of Miss Anne Duffield, and it was the longest one I'd ever done. That was like a discipline. I was seeing how far I could go, because I always get fed up.
That's the Sherlock Holmes take-off,
Sherlock Holmes, yeah. And I wanted to see if I could carry on and on. I would have gone on and made a whole book out of it if I could, but I couldn't. That was as far as... Well, with that, I'd get to some word, I'd get a sentence, and it just didn't work somehow. So I'd say to George, have you got... What's another word for I don't know, fly? And he'd suggest something.
That little piece, to me anyway, showed quite a lot of...
That's me big piece.
That's your big piece, I beg your... That big piece showed very close acquaintanceship with the work of Conan Doyle. Do you read his books? I mean, you know them well?
No, I'd read 1 or 2 when I was younger.
I know you hate this question, but what are the other influences? Obviously, Conan Doyle in that case. All the names that people toss out when they read your things. Nursery rhymes, Lewis Carroll, Edward Lear. You deny all this, will you?
I deny it because I'm ignorant. I was ignorant of the fact of Lear. I'd heard the name, obviously, you know, somewhere, but we didn't do him at school, and the only sort of classic kind of all very highbrow or anything kind of things I'd read were at school, or that I knew of, and Joyce and Chaucer. I might have read a bit of Chaucer at school, because I think they do that. So I bought all the books that they said it was like. I bought 1 book on Edward Lear, I bought Finnegan's Wake, Chaucer's, a big book on Chaucer, and I couldn't see any resemblance to any of them. A little bit of Finnegan's Wake, but Finnegan's Wake was so way out and so different. Just a few word changes, but anybody who changes words has got to be compared. But his stuff is just something else.
Can I ask you about Lewis Carroll?
Oh, Lewis Carroll, I always admit to that, because I love Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass, but I didn't even know he'd written anything else. I was that ignorant. I just happened to get those for birthday presents as a child and liked them.
A lot of people say your pieces are sick. What do you say to them?
If it makes people sick, they're sick, but I can read it without... It doesn't appear sick to me.
That marvellous cartoon, you know, I Am Blind. This is my favourite thing in the whole book. And the other one man, a street musician, I am blind, and the other one, I can see perfectly well. Is this typical of your kind of humour? Is this the way your mind works?
In certain moods. We used to do a lot of gags like that at school. I was just drawing, and I just happened to make him blind, the fella, and gave him a dog. And then I just drew another one next to him. It wasn't, and then I didn't think of the joke and then put it down. Because at school we used to draw a lot and pass it round, and I remember we'd had dogs with blind dogs with sunglasses on, leading ordinary people, or people leading, you know, just all variations on the theme. And I just found myself drawing something that I'd done at school, but without the tagline.
Let me ask you, the difference I noticed between the first book and the second, the thing that struck me most forcibly was there's an awful pompous expression. There's more social conscience somehow in this second book, more awareness of what's going on. I mean, things like Cassandra, the knock at Cassandra, which I love.
Well, that was mainly because he knocked us. I sat down to do that because, you know, somebody like Cassandra who does knock us, we get a lot of knocking, which